What if the Flash's greatest enemy wasn't Thawne, but his own bloodline? In Absolute Flash, issue number 10, Wally West doesn't just run through time. He runs straight into betrayal, lost fathers, and a nightmare experiment that should have never existed. A teammate sells him out. Captain Cold makes the call that could cost him everything. And when Wally finally reaches his father, the thing waiting for him in the fire is not Barry Allen. This isn't a Flash story about speed. This is a story about legacy, trauma, and one terrifying truth. There can be only one Flash. But before we dive into issue 10, let's rewind issue 9 for better experience. Previously on issue 9, last time, in Absolute Flash issue number 9, we saw that while time traveling, Wally ends up reaching Captain Cold, Lisa, George Harkness, and Jesse James. There, Captain Cold tells Wally that Wally's father, Rudy West, has saved Captain Cold many times in the past. Groot and Wally then go along with Captain Cold and his team, but they don't know that there is a traitor in the team. That traitor is Jesse, who is secretly passing every single piece of information to Eleanor Thawne. Then, Dr. Thawne orders Jesse, saying, "Please secure the asset." Suddenly, there is a blast on the ship, and everyone gets divided into two groups. On one side are Wally and Jesse, and on the other side are Captain Cold and the rest of his team. However, Groot saves Captain Cold and his team from falling. Wally tries to run away, and both of them crash to the ground. Jesse says, "Nice trick, West, but I got a few of my." Before she can finish her sentence, Lisa makes a powerful entry. Lisa kicks Jesse hard and says, "Shut up, Jesse." Then Dr. Thawne arrives with Rudy West and tells him, "Wally is the missing link between all of my grandfather's work and all of Barry Allen's too." That's all for Absolute Flash, issue number 9. Now let's jump to issue number 10. But before we start the video, if you're new to our channel, please subscribe, because your one subscription motivates us to create more amazing videos like this. Let's jump into it. Our comic begins on Olympus Island, where Lisa has a foot pressed against Jesse's face. Her sword at Jesse's throat, and she says, "Stay down, Jesse." Jesse, still confident, replies to Lisa, "Finally grew a spine, huh, Lisa? Look at you, finally standing on your own, without your big brother having to come to your rescue." Captain Cold cuts Jesse off and says, "That's enough, Jesse. Digger, have your drones do a recon loop. Thawne knows we're coming, and I don't want any more surprises. I don't know about the rest of you, but I have a farm to get back to, and I fully intend to get back there in one piece." Digger responds to Captain Cold, "You got it, Captain." Suddenly, Groot receives some kind of message. He lets out a startled sound, and Wally walks over to him and asks, "What is it, Groot?" As soon as Groot touches Wally, Groot sees a vision of his own father, and Wally sees a vision of his father as well. Consoling Groot, Wally says, "We'll find him, Groot, I promise." Captain Cold then asks his teammates, "Do you guys feel that?" He adds, "Is it me, or did the temperature just shoot up?" Jesse replies to Captain Cold, "It's about to get a lot hotter, morons." At that moment, Heatwave makes a dramatic entrance. Then, Heatwave slams his fist hard into the ground. Captain Cold is thrown aside, and the rest of the team scatters in different directions to save themselves. Digger shouts to everyone, "It's Mick Rory." Jesse, still restrained by Lisa, threatens everyone, especially Lisa, saying, "I'm gonna take you and those legs apart, Lisa." Wally steps forward, ready to fight Heatwave, and says to Captain Cold, I can stop him again. Absorb his power like I did in Central City." Before he can do anything, Captain Cold intervenes in a firm tone. His eyes are locked on Heatwave as he says plainly, "Not this time, kid." Wally's about to respond, but Captain Cold cuts him off and tells him, "Find your dad, Wally." Then, without wasting a second, Captain Cold shouts, "Go." Inside the lab, Dr. Dawn's watching the entire incident through the monitors. She contacts Trickster, Jesse, and issues an order at the same time. "Trickster, do you read me? Disengage and follow the boy." Still fighting Lisa, Jesse replies confidently, "I'm almost done here. Just let me." Dr. Thawne yells desperately, "Now, Jesse, we're too close now to let petty grudges ruin this." Frustrated, Jesse responds, "Sigh, fine." Jesse starts chasing Wally and reports to Dr. Thawne, "I have eyes on the prize, boss. The kid's heading inside." Groot and Wally are now inside the lab. Groot says to Wally, "Grodd don't like." Wally West, staying calm and trying to keep control of the situation, replies, "Yeah, me neither." but we don't have a choice. He immediately reassures him. Let's just try and do this as quick as we can, okay? Flash then asks Groot, so, your dad tell you anything about what we're doing here at Fort Fox? Suddenly, a hologram-like image appears in front of him, showing Barry Allen and Eobard Thawne. Eobard Thawne says, no, not really. Just research stuff. He and I don't talk about his work very much. Barry Allen asks softly, what do you two talk about? Eobard Thawne answers, honestly, not much. Since my mom died, he and I haven't really had much in common. Barry Allen agrees quietly and says, yeah, me and my old man too. Wally watches them leave and says to Groot, this way. Groot follows Wally, letting out his eek sounds as he goes. Wally's now inside a lab, where he sees Eobard Thawne and Barry Allen talking. Eobard Thawne says to Barry Allen, Dr. Allen, Barry, what exactly are you guys doing down here? Barry answers honestly, without any hesitation, making human-animal hybrids, of course. Wally stays where he is, watching everything, and calls out to his father. Dad, are you there? He continues, Dad, I think I messed up bad. Barry Allen and Eobard Thawne start leaving the lab, and as they walk, Barry says to Eobard Thawne, Project Olympus is, well, I can't tell you everything, but we're working at the very razor's edge of physics and biology. Eobard Thawne replies, but isn't this all, like, super classified? Suddenly, something like a sonic wave triggers Wally, and he calls out, Grodd? Grodd is sitting near a glass enclosure, staring at someone inside. Wally says to Grodd, I don't know what's happening to me. I feel... Then comes an innocent question that hits straight to the heart. Daddy? Wally West walks up to the glass and says in a soft but firm tone, we'll find him. But Wally and Grodd don't realize that someone is following them. Jesse throws a round, ball-like bomb toward them and says, not so fast, Red. An explosion follows. Wally grabs Grodd and runs, shouting to him, hold on. From behind, Dr. Thawne gives instructions to Jesse, saying, that's it, keep him moving. Jesse reassures Dr. Thawne and asks, you sure this is gonna work? Dr. Thawne doesn't think a reply is necessary and tells Jesse, just get him to Allen's lab. Corner him there. Make him feel threatened. His power will do the rest. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Captain Cold, Digger, and Lisa are fighting Heatwave. Captain Cold fires his gun at Heatwave and shouts, keep hitting him! But Digger replies, nothing's touching him, Captain. Boomerangs are just melting. Captain Cold calls out to Heatwave, Rory, stop this. You know us. Rory, of course, is Heatwave himself. Captain Cold tries to remind him who he is, saying, it's Leonard and... Before he can finish, Heatwave lands a powerful punch on Lisa, sending her crashing to the ground. Captain Cold yells, Lisa. Captain Cold lifts Lisa onto his shoulder. She cries out in pain. Hurts. Captain Cold calmly reassures her. Easy, I gotcha. On the other side, Digger keeps fighting Heatwave, throwing his weapons at him. Heatwave taunts him. Come on. Heatwave catches one of Digger's weapons and snaps it in half. Completely exhausted, Digger says, it's no use, guys. We gotta retreat. Just then, Captain Cold senses something and tells them to wait. Suddenly, heavy rain pours down and lightning crashes from the sky, striking Heatwave directly. That lightning comes from none other than Project Wizard, aka Marco Martin. Heatwave reverts to his human form, Rory, and collapses to the ground. Marco makes a heroic entrance, stepping forward with confidence and asking Captain Cold, Digger, and Lisa, what I miss? The scene then shifts back to the lab, where Grodd and Wally are trapped in the background. A visual plays in which Eobard Thawne is calling out to Barry Allen, be Barry. Barry's face tightens. He steps forward and through blazing energy looks toward a silhouette, shouting in anger and shock, what did you do to my boy? A shadowy figure extends amid lightning, and a strong, protective voice echoes, take my hand, son, hold on. Wally doesn't understand what's happening. Inside his mind, he asks himself, Barry? At that moment, Jessie enters and throws her ball, saying, Alan's long gone, kid. Time to join him. Wally turns toward her angrily and says, enough, Trickster, stop it. But Trickster only raises her hand and replies with a taunt as she throws the ball at Grodd. Why don't you make me? The situation spirals out of control. Wally charges forward, shouting, no! Wally's move works. He jumps and catches the ball midair. He then hurls the ball straight at Jesse's face. The ball detonates, exploding like a ticking bomb, and the blast tears into Jesse. However, the explosion also shatters the glass of a containment chamber in the lab. Grodd points toward it and says, "Eek!" Wally turns around, confused, and says, "What? What is?" Suddenly, a hand made of burning fire emerges from the container, and a voice echoes from within, "Wally!" Wally is shocked. He never expected anything like this. His mouth hangs open as he says, "Barry?" Wally reaches his hand forward to touch it and asks as he steps closer, It's you, isn't it?" At that moment, Captain Cold, Lisa, Digger, and Marco arrive. Captain Cold gives everyone a firm warning. Be ready for anything. No telling what else Eleanor has up her sleeve. Back to the fire. Another desperate call echoes through the flames. "Wally!" This time, Wally responds. He moves straight into the fire without hesitation and shouts, "It's me, Barry. I'm here." Just then, Wally West arrives and yells desperately at Wally, "Wally, don't!" But it's already too late. Dr. Thorne suddenly grabs Wally with his own hands and, laughing in a monstrous voice, says, "Not Barry." Dr. Eleanor Thorne is stunned. This is completely beyond her expectations. With wide eyes and a shaken voice, she says, "Grandfather." On the other side, Eobard Thorne shouts, "One." Coming to the next page, Thorne grabs Wally and says in a monstrous voice, "There can be only one." Even that isn't enough for him. Thorne lifts Wally and throws him away. Wally crashes into the ground and slams into the structure of the building. As Thorne begins to disappear, Wally reaches out toward him and cries, "No." At that moment, a voice calls out from behind him, "Wally!" Moving to the next page, as Wally turns around, he sees Barry. On a hologram, Barry speaks to Wally and says, "Welcome home." Wally stares at him in shock. His breathing is rapid, his eyes wide. His mind is flooded with questions, but no words come out. Quantum Judgment. And with this, Absolute Flash issue number 10 comes to an end. Hearing "Welcome Home" from his father's mouth must have given Barry chills. I'm very excited for issue number 11, and I hope you are too. Like the video if you enjoyed the breakdown, and subscribe for the next issue. Until then, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and stay wild. Peace.